Okay, so picture this. Mr. Beast gets this insane lineup of stars, traps them all inside a big, shrinking red circle, and puts $1 million on the line. But here's the kicker. The winner doesn't actually pocket any of the cash. Nope, it all goes to their favorite charity.
We're starting with 30 competitors. That is a huge field, which means the odds of winning right from the jump are incredibly small.
And I mean, this isn't just any group of celebrities. We're talking a wild mix. You've got actors like Kevin Hart, icons like Paris Hilton, musicians like the Chainsmokers and Diplo, and total wildcards like Howie Mandel and Steve-O, the whole 9 yards. The prize is a cool $1 million. That's life-changing money, just not for them. It's for the cause they're all fighting for. And this is what makes it all so interesting, right? It's not about them getting richer. It's about seeing how far they're willing to push and maybe even bend the rules for a really good cause. It just adds this whole other layer to the chaos. So the big question is, who's going to be the last one standing? 30 stars walk in, but only one is walking out with that money. Let's break down exactly how this madness went down. So the game kicks off, and at first, the vibe is kind of chill. People are making friends, alliances are forming. There's even a musician corner where all the DJs and pop stars are hanging out. But Mr. Beast, he's not going to let it stay friendly for long. He immediately throws a huge wrench in the works with the very first challenge.
This first game, man, it is a brutal test of risk versus reward. The celebs have to make a choice. Do you play it safe and stay in the game, or do you risk everything for a chance to give your biggest fan a brand new car? It's a genius move, really. Right out of the gate, he's forcing them to weigh their own survival against this incredible gift for someone else.
And yeah, that risk, it turned out to be way too much for a lot of them. One after another, they step up, they miss, and bam, they're out. Jay Pharoah, Callum Hood, Cedric the Entertainer, gone. It honestly looked like no one was going to make it until Diplo stepped up to the plate, nailed the shot, won his fan a car, and, most importantly, got to stay in the game. And just like that, after that first round of carnage, the group is already a lot smaller. 4 celebrities are gone, and you can just feel the pressure start to ramp up. Okay, so with the field thinned out a bit, the next challenge forces everyone to make a huge decision about what they're good at. Their entire game is about to hinge on this one simple choice. They literally had to choose a side. Are you going with strength? Or are you going with smarts? I mean, talk about a tough call, right? You're basically betting on your own best skill to survive. Are you brains or are you brawn? So for the smarts crew, it was this super frantic memory puzzle. They had to memorize this really complex stack of blocks and then build it from memory before anyone else. And you know what? The musicians totally crushed it. Future finalists Young Gravy and Audrey Nuna were right at the top, which kind of showed they were not messing around. But wait. There was a twist. Howie Mandel, who looked like he was totally bombing, somehow pulled it off. How? Well, he cheated. He secretly filmed the pattern on his phone. And his justification was just priceless. He basically said, hey, it's for charity, so who cares? It was a hilariously bold move that proved he'd do anything to win. And while all that was going on, the strength team was going through absolute torture. It was a challenge straight out of Survivor. They just had to hang on to this pole for as long as humanly possible. Super simple, but incredibly hard. It was pure willpower. So once the dust settles from the smarts and strength games, wow. The field is just decimated. We're down to just 15 people, exactly half of the original group, gone. All right, next up, the survivors get split into teams of 3 for a cooking challenge. Now you'd think they'd work together, right? Nope. One person decided that chaos was the secret ingredient. And can you guess who that was? Of course, it was Howie Mandel again. His strategy, if you can even call it that, was just a masterclass in sabotage. He stole ingredients, totally ignored what his teammates wanted to make, and served up a dish so gross the judges couldn't even look at it. He even made up a fake sob story about his grandma. It was unbelievable. And yeah, his team got eliminated immediately. So, after Howie's culinary disaster gets his team booted, and, get this, comedian Paul Scheer actually eliminates himself out of loyalty to his friends, boom, we're suddenly down to the final 8. And this is where things get really intense. A new level of psychological warfare. The final 8 get locked in their teams inside these little cubes, and they're given a horrible task. Only one of you is moving on. They had to turn on each other.
And you will not believe how they made these massive game-ending decisions. It was completely random and bizarre. Our final 3 were decided by a game of Twister, a puppy picking its favorite person, and a best-of-3 match of Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Seriously. And that's how we got our finalists: Audrey Nuna, Young Gravy, and Steve-O.
And just like that, we're at the end game, the finale. 3 contestants, 3 amazing charities, and $1 million hanging in the balance. It all comes down to a game of pure psychology.
The final game is all about bluffing. Here's how it works. Audrey and Gravy each pick a briefcase and secretly look inside. Steve-O has no idea what's in any of them. His job is to either take the last case or try to steal a case from one of the others based on nothing but their reaction. The entire game? $1 million. It all comes down to whether he can read a bluff. And then, man, we get the moment of the entire competition. MrBeast asks Audrey what was in her case, and with the most incredible poker face you've ever seen, she just says, "I saw a pet rabbit." Her delivery was just perfect. So absurd, so unreadable, it threw everyone off. She gave Steve-O absolutely 0 to work with. So in the end, with nothing else to go on, Steve-O just went with his gut. He decided to steal Audrey's briefcase. And he was right. He won the $1 million for Doctors Without Borders. What an ending, all coming down to a single high-pressure guess. Which kind of leaves you with one last question. If you were in that spot, with that much money on the line for a good cause, how good is your poker face?